back here, and we're going to smother these green beans with a little bacon, onion, and then just let them cook, right? The bacon is good and crispy and the fat has rendered out. That's the fat we're going to cover our onion and green beans in. And we're just gonna leave the bacon in there. Like to give the onion about a 30-second head start. That way the flavor can extract out of it a little better. One of the top 5 greatest smells is onion cooking in bacon grease. Changed my mind. I know for a fact this is a grandma green bean recipe because it comes from allrecipes.com and it's called Grandma Mac's green beans. So I had to do it. With my own twist, of course. The seasonings, I'm going in with some seasoned salt. This is about as classic as it gets. And a little regular salt, some pepper, and then just a little bit of sugar. This is probably a Southern grandma. I know that because I started with bacon. All right, now we're gonna add some liquid. It says just enough water to cook the green beans. They'll cook down a little bit, so I'm not gonna submerge them in water. I'm just gonna go about halfway. These are gonna slow cook. Just gonna bring them up to a simmer, cover them, and let them go. About 45 minutes of good simmering. These are gonna be nice and soft. Let me just get a little sample. Grandma Mac knew what she was doing. Whether at your grandmother's or the cafeteria, there was a little salad on the table. And the salad couldn't be more basic. And when I think about my childhood and what I remember is that the dressing that my mom always made sure we had was Thousand Island. So we're gonna have a simple salad with Thousand Island dressing. I'm gonna make the Thousand Island dressing. And you have everything on hand to make it, so you really don't need to buy the bottled stuff. Ketchup, I know separately it's weird, and sweet relish, a little salt and pepper, and my mom always added a dash of vinegar. It's usually about half as much ketchup as there is mayonnaise. You just want to get that nice, like, light shrimpy color. I mean, that took 5 seconds. When it came to salads back then, they were very simple, as is everything else. But no fancy lettuces, okay? We are not bougie back in the day. I happen to love this kind of salad. Basic isn't always bad. They wouldn't go ahead and dress it. It would just be built, maybe even individually plated. Ain't nobody got time for that. Simply lettuce, cucumber, and not the fancy cucumbers, but you can make them fancy. Tomato, cheese, and then croutons. And this is gonna be so good with our homemade Thousand Island dressing. One of my favorite things I used to do is take a crouton like it was a chip, and the dressing was the dip. Still hits. Grandma always had something sweet on the table. The real dessert I remember my grandmother having, I'm gonna surprise you with at the end, but it's not much cooking to that one, so I'm gonna whip something up for you. I did a little poll on my Instagram to see what dessert was most commonly served after Sunday dinner at your grandmother's. The 2 most popular answers were banana pudding and a pie. Well, you've seen me do banana pudding, so now we're gonna do a pie. And when it comes to pie, I think the most popular was either a fruit pie or a chocolate pie, so I'm gonna do a chocolate pie. So I just did store-bought pie dough, and then we're just going to, in this pot, start with 3 egg yolks. You might have been a part of that poll that I asked on my Instagram, and if you're not, are you following me on Instagram? Shameless plug. Put my Instagram handle at the bottom when I talk about that. To the egg yolks, we're going in with 1.5 cups of sugar. This is one of those desserts that, just like all old-fashioned desserts, they're made with pantry staples. This could be one that you can whip up on the fly. It's a lot of sugar, so you know it's gonna be good. All right, I'm just gonna beat this together until it's good and creamy. Should I do this with a hand mixer? I feel like they would have. I feel like she would have used her electric mixer. These people just walk in on the set. My egg yolks were not large enough. Going in with another one. Guess the chickens were bigger back then. So now we put in our cocoa powder and a little cornstarch. This will help thicken it in addition to that egg yolk. Kind of like we're just making a chocolate pudding. And a little salt. Okay, now we add in the milk. It's 3 cups of milk, so that I know this looks really thick. I'm gonna thin it out and then thicken it back up on the stove. Me multitasking. Once this is smooth and well blended, now we go to the stove and we're going to cook it until it comes to a simmer. We're gonna cook it for about 5 minutes until it's good and thick. Recipe states to stir it with a wooden spoon the whole time. All that sugar will dissolve and it'll get nice and thick. It smells so good. Look how thick it is. Coating the back of the spoon. Little sample for me. And then the final step is to stir in a tablespoon of cold butter and a little vanilla. Stir that until that butter melts. Why do we complicate things? Life and recipes were simpler back then. That's why we're bringing it back. All right, now we're gonna pour it into our pie crust. You wanna let it cool on the counter for a little bit and then pop it into the fridge for a couple hours. If you're having the family over on Sunday, you could easily put this together on Friday or Saturday. Time to set the table. Our pie is done. I finished it off with some fresh whipped cream and shaved chocolate. But you want to know what my grandmother really had on the table for dessert on Sundays? Can you taste it? This is also how they would maybe serve it up at the cafeteria. And this is the time you break out the can. We have 2 desserts because I couldn't resist. Don't forget the bread and butter. There was never a meal at your grandparents' that didn't include bread and butter. We have the feast, start to finish, a grandma's Sunday dinner right here. You will never find a plate more comforting than this. Let's dig in before we go to dessert. I mean, so tender. Look how tender this roast is. I mean, pulls right apart with a fork. I did it. That's the flavor of grandma's pot roast. I'm so proud of that flavor. So you get that perfect bite with those mashed potatoes. The potatoes just float down your throat, I'm telling you. So soft, so tender, and the perfect vessel for that gravy. Green beans. Wait, don't forget about my healthy salad right here. I'm telling you, we overcomplicate things. They did it right back then. Y'all need to call your family and have them over on Sunday, just for old time's sake. Jiggle, jiggle. I don't even know the last time I had this, and I'm pretty sure I've never served this to my kids. And then our final treat, our chocolate pie. How does chocolate pie for dessert sound? Sounds like my favorite thing in the whole world. I forget about this pie. I don't know how. I'll finish this whole slice, but not in front of you. I'm telling you, if you were looking for a taste of your childhood or just a little nostalgia, Grandma's Sunday dinner is where it's at. From start to finish, a complete dinner, didn't even break a sweat. Take back your slow Sundays and make this menu. You will not regret it. I think I've made the grandmothers proud, don't you? I'm gonna be a good grandmother someday. But not anytime soon. If I just jinx myself, I swear.